Once upon a time, in the small, quaint town of Hollowbrook, there existed a mysterious pumpkin patch on the outskirts of the village. It was said to be haunted, and the townsfolk believed that every Halloween night, strange things would happen among the pumpkin vines. But the real story began when a curious man named Jack decided to explore the eerie pumpkin patch on the night of a full moon. Jack had always been fascinated by the supernatural and the unexplained. He had heard countless stories about the haunted pumpkin patch, but had never encountered anything truly paranormal himself. Determined to debunk the myths surrounding it, he armed himself with a flashlight and ventured into the darkness. As Jack stepped into the patch, he could feel an unusual chill in the air. The moon shone brightly overhead, casting an eerie glow on the pumpkins that seemed to be watching his every move. Unfazed, he pressed on, dismissing the unsettling sensation as mere nerves. As the night wore on, Jack became lost in the sea of pumpkins. The vines seemed to twist and turn, shifting the landscape around him. Panic began to set in, but he continued walking, desperately trying to find his way out. Suddenly, he stumbled upon an odd-looking pumpkin that glowed with an otherworldly light. Intrigued by the unusual pumpkin, Jack couldn't resist reaching out to touch it. But the moment his hand made contact, an electric surge coursed through his body. He felt an agonizing transformation taking place, as if his very essence was merging with the pumpkin. Terrified, Jack tried to pull away, but it was too late. The pumpkin had claimed him. He could no longer move or speak, trapped within the pumpkin's shell. His mind, however, remained intact, aware of the nightmare that had befallen him. Days turned into weeks, and the townspeople began to notice Jack's absence. Concerned, they organized search parties to scour the countryside, but nobody could find a trace of him. Little did they know that Jack had become one with the haunted pumpkin patch, his life force entwined with the cursed land. As Halloween approached, the pumpkin patch seemed to come alive with an even more sinister aura. Strange occurrences plagued Hollowbrook, shadows that moved on their own, eerie laughter echoing through the streets, and pumpkins that glowed with an unnatural light. One evening, a young girl named Emily, who had always been curious about the haunted patch, decided to investigate the strange happenings. Armed with her own bravery and a lantern, she ventured into the ominous pumpkin patch. As Emily explored the maze of vines and pumpkins, she stumbled upon the glowing pumpkin that once was Jack. She sensed something different about it, something that called out to her. Unaware of the dreadful curse, she gently picked up the cursed pumpkin and carried it back to her home. The moment she placed the pumpkin on her windowsill, a strange thing occurred. The pumpkin began to emit a soft, warm glow, and she heard a faint voice inside her mind. It was Jack, desperately trying to communicate. Emily was shocked and terrified, but also filled with compassion for the trapped soul within the pumpkin. Through their connection, Jack conveyed his tragic tale, warning Emily of the curse that had befallen him and the haunted nature of the patch. Determined to break the curse and free Jack, Emily sought the help of the village's wise elder, Mrs. Hawthorne. Mrs. Hawthorne, well versed in mystical matters, revealed that the pumpkin patch was cursed by a powerful witch centuries ago, seeking revenge for the townsfolk's mistrust in her. To break the curse, Emily needed to perform a ritual during the next full moon when the pumpkin patch's power was at its peak. With Mrs. Hawthorne's guidance, she collected rare ingredients and prepared for the daunting task ahead. When the full moon finally graced the night sky, Emily returned to the pumpkin patch with Jack's pumpkin cradled in her arms. Following Mrs. Hawthorne's instructions, she recited ancient incantations and sprinkled magical dust over the pumpkin. A powerful surge of energy enveloped them, and Emily felt a strange sense of release. The pumpkin began to transform back into its original form, and Jack emerged, a human once more, with tears of joy streaming down his face. The curse had finally been broken, and the haunted pumpkin patch's dark influence lifted. Emily and Jack emerged as heroes, praised by the grateful townsfolk for their courage and determination. From that day forth, the pumpkin patch was no longer feared but became a symbol of hope and redemption. As for Jack, he cherished every moment of his second chance at life, forever grateful to Emily for her kindness and bravery. And so, the tale of the haunted pumpkin patch and the man-turned-pumpkin became a story of triumph over darkness and the enduring power of compassion and friendship in the face of adversity.